Yeah, you are. Dan's here with me in the studio. Honey, you can stay there. I would so love it if Dan painted with me today. So, hi Facebook. We are here with our Tuesday morning acrylics and just sharing a little bit of some tips and a project to involve your family and friends and the littles at home. So I'm excited about this idea I'd like to share. A way to connect and support people who are out there so we can be in here safe. So, acrylic painting. It's pretty simple. It's a water-based medium, so if you're new to it, there's not a lot of cleanup. These are non-toxic paints. I do have some mediums in here that are Winsor Newton and Goldens. I'm going to talk about a variety of different name brands as well as the difference between paints and the acrylic mediums. So I'm going to talk about that tonight in the 6:30 class. This morning, I'd really like to inspire a project. So I'm going to show you a little color mixing, and I'm just going to pick a couple of nice cool colors. I'm going to talk about what a cool color, what a warm color is, and then we're going to make values. So that means light to dark shades of that particular color that I'm going to mix. And then I have an idea that I'd like to share with your kiddos at home. And I'll show you just a little bit because I'm not really good at waiting for secrets. So I'm going to share this. So there are a lot of people that are in the delivery and the packing and delivery services that are they're really working hard so that we can be home, we can receive packages, order things online, order food and delivery. And I don't know if we've all thought about this, but they're putting their lives on the line for us so we can stay safe. 3 of our kids are in the delivery service, and I to be honest, I'm nervous every day, but they're taking precautions. We talk to them about being healthy, being safe for themselves and their families. But I thought for a minute, as my postal worker was delivering my mail out there, and I go out and bleach and water my mailbox every day, just in case. She's wearing gloves and following protocol, but I feel like there's something more I could do. So that's what I was doing. And then this morning, as I was deciding, well, what simple project can I offer to the kiddos at home, and maybe moms or grandparents or guardians that are watching kids, what could you do that would be purposeful art making? And how could we do this together? And very simple. So just in a quick little tutorial, what can you do with your kids at home with acrylic paint, which is easy to clean up and easy to mix, and they love the mixing part. Their plates are the most playful part of the entire experience. After they're done, just kind of swirling it around the plate, and that's the refrigerator art. My grandkids do it to me every time. So here's my thinking. What if we could all, as humanity, thank our delivery persons that come to our door and deliver our food and deliver our mail and our packages? What if we could find a creative way to say thank you, and I see you, and I deeply appreciate what you're doing for me every day, day in and day out. I'll try not to cry. And I think we can make a sign. Now, it's not something they're going to touch, so it's not putting them in any kind of jeopardy. But what if we found some creative surfaces, big, small? I challenge you to be the most creative sign maker that we notice. And imagine if our postal workers and our delivery people were to drive down a certain neighborhood and they all saw thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you in the windows, in the yard signs, on the cars, wherever you choose to put it. Get your brain rolling. How can you get creative and colorful and thank your delivery people today? Here's how I thought we could do it. It might be backwards in there, but it says thank you. And so this is just a canvas board. I get them online. But you can do this with cloth. You can do this with a pillowcase. You can do this with anything. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to mix a color and just talk a little bit about how and why I'm mixing certain colors. And then we're going to talk a little bit about values. I did talk about that a little bit last week, but you can't talk about values too often. That goes both ways. We can't talk about values too often. Well, where art is concerned, it means light to dark. So I'll get a base color mixed, and I'll talk you through like how I'm mixing a particular color and why, what I'm looking for, and how I tweak it a little bit with the palette knife. Very simple. And by the way, the kiddos can use, there's plastic versions of these palette knives that you can buy in sets. They're super cheap, maybe a few bucks. You can walk away with 10 of them. So just let them mix and let them play. But this morning I'm going to show you how to create a particular color and then how to use the palette to get lights and darks. Now, why is that important in this project? So this is what we call a resistance. So I've put down masking tape in the word that I want to save, and that's going to remain white. Once the tape is down, and this is a really simple project, anybody can do it, you want to make sure that the tape is really down firm so that the paint, when you're applying it, does not get underneath the tape. And it's okay if it does. You can go back over it. Don't think too much. Don't overthink it. Or when the kids are doing it, let's try not to like get your hands too much in there and, oh, see, I just lift that. Now that's going to be a little imperfect right there, and I'm going to love it anyway. So that's what I mean. Just let it be, have a little fun with it. But pressing it down, you're going to get a nice crisp edge. So that's a resistance. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my paints, and then I'll bring that over afterwards. And so I've got two different kinds of palettes. Paper plate, and this beautiful, Marcy, don't judge me, honey. This beautiful Syracuse china plate that I've had forever. I bought a whole set of them at a garage sale for like $20 when I was 18 years old, and I still have them now and again. I bring them out. So I thought, if you don't have palettes, if you don't have what you know artists have, what could you use around the house? Well, if you've got a paper plate, let's start there. So I'm going to start with just a little bit of talk on what warm and cool colors are and why that's important for you to know. Because sometimes we think, oh, I'm not an artist, I can't mix colors, when I try, I get mud. Well, warm and cool colors have a lot to do with that. So all reds are not treated equal. All blues are not treated equal. So what I like to do is grab a warm blue, which if you were to compare the blues, I'm going to put down on this plate just a little smear. I'll hold it up to the camera in just a minute. By the way, these paints were donated. I use them a lot for demonstrations. We get a lot of donations with paint so that students can, if they can't afford the paint, then we can give them paint from our collection. So we've been doing that for a number of years. We take donations here, just not now, for obvious reasons. Just safety first. So let me show you what warm and cool looks like. So that over there, that's a warm blue. And that's more of a cool blue. So this one over here has just a little bit more yellow. So the three primaries are yellow, blue, and red. So being a primary, you can either lean towards red or yellow, we're just talking simply stated. So this has less of the yellow, this has more of the yellow. So we're calling that more of a warm color. And you could get a whole bunch deeper on this with color theory and all of that. But we're talking about kids and having fun, and let's just keep it simple for beginners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the warm blue to make a purple. I like the way that the warm blue is more vibrant, it plays nicely with the cool red that I'm about to use, and you'll get a nice rich purple. Sometimes when we try and make purple, it comes out just a little bit too like muddied down, and I can't get that nice color that I want. You know, that purple that we all imagine when we say purple. And that's generally because you've used the mixture of a warm to a red just a little bit off. Now red might be a little bit easier to tell because see it's got that, you can guess that's the warmer because it's got a little bit more yellow, closer to orange. And this one is darker in a bunch, but it's not all that much darker. But you can tell just right next to each other, it's got just a little bit more blue than it does yellow. So I'm going to use the cool red, because it has more blue in it, with the warm blue, because I find that the warm blue just plays a lot, just plays nice. You know, he just plays well with all sorts of things. I forgot to turn my video off. I'll have to do that before we start the Zoom. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two colors and I'm going to make sure that I have enough of them on the edge of the plate so I can use the center part for mixing. So this is, that blue is kind of funky right now. With donated paint, you get what you get. And I put the wrong red on there. There it is. Now, how do I know how much paint to put on here? That is a really good question I just asked myself. Well, blue is going to be darker, clearly. That's something to think about. Red isn't quite as dark, so if I want a darker purple, I would add more blue. In this case, I don't really need to think about much else. So I'll get my paint kind of mushed up just by taking the palette knife and pressing down on it with a palette knife. And notice I hold it like this. I'm going to do a palette knife demo next Tuesday if you're interested. But right now I'm just going to use it for mixing. And this paint came out kind of weird, so because it's donated paint, sometimes the binder acts a little funny and inconsistent. So what you can do to see if it's usable, which this is you'll be able to work it in just a little bit. I'm not doing anything high quality, I'm just kind of playing with paint. So I just changed the consistency of the paint. So I'm going to scoop it all up, put it all down and smear it. Scoop it all up, put it all down and smear it. And it went from like a bumpy consistency where some people might say, oh, this paint has gone bad, I'm not going to use it. I just work it a little bit till it gets to the consistency that I'm looking for. I didn't add water because that's going to dilute the application, and I want it to be nice and thick and blendable. So there we go. Nice, rich red. I could sit here and do this all day long. There we go. So now, like I did in last Tuesday's acrylic tutorial, I'm just going to add a little bit to the side because I don't want it to get too dark too fast. Remember, the blue is going to be more powerful because it's the darker color. Now, if you notice, it's a little too blue too quick. It's too dark. It's not going to be able to be purple. So I put it off to the side so I didn't mix in all of that red and that blue together so that it would overpower and I'd have to start over. Or what very often happens, you mix this big color that we don't like and we just keep plopping color on and plopping color on, and you end up wasting quite a bit of paint and rarely get to the color that you're originally looking for. There we go. So, sorry, I keep getting messages. I should have put it on Do Not Disturb. It's all a learning curve. So here's what I do is I grab that paint, I put it up here on the side, and then I'll use my painting at some point. But right now I just want to get the base color. So now I've got a little bit of that blue and red mixed, and now I'm going to start putting some more of the red in that mix. And I'm starting to see like a red purple. Every once in a while I clean off both sides of the palette. Got any comments yet?
No, but I'm looking at your phone and I don't see like I'm getting the same comments that you are, or all the comments.
Are you on the watch party?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Maybe I am. I got confused.
Yeah, well just go off the watch party. Go back to my news feed and then just go on the one that's getting the comments. Dan's my DJ today and we're having a little bit of fun in the studio. Jillian's going to be here later tonight. She's going to help me tonight. I'm going to have, we're going to adult a little bit during tonight's live feed and discussion. I just pulled some more blue in, by the way. And now I'm just gonna like pull it all together. I like the color that I've got. What I do once in a while, clean off the brush, the palette knife on both sides, is I pull it all up, put it off to the side, and then the plate itself, because I'm pressing down, it'll show the color that I'm getting, because this is a really dark color. So I've got a nice rich purple. And this is a chart that I use pretty often. I love this chart. I use it for a lot of different things, but for today, I wanted this color right in the center. It's like a blue, purpley gray. And this is what we call a value scale. So light to dark. So we add white to get it to here, and then we add the darker color here. The base is in here, somewhere in here, and then you can add a darker color. Like sometimes, very often, I'll use like a burnt umber in the base. So we're gonna make a value scale on the side here, and then we're just gonna start painting. What's the time check there, Daniel?
17 after.
Woohoo, we got time. And then I'm gonna show you how to blend acrylics, because that is very often a trouble point for a lot of people. Is it dries, because acrylic dries fairly fast. It's a water-based medium, and it dries pretty fast, but I've got a couple tricks and a brush that I love to use. I use them in my TED Talk because it blends it for me beautifully every time when I use it in a particular way. So I'll be covering some of that today and some of that tonight, and more next week with the palette knife too. So this is the base color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a value scale, which I did last week but bears repeating. So let's get some white on our plate. Got any questions there, Dan? Or are they just saying, hi, Dan?
They're both saying hi, Dan.
Say hi back.
I did. And Terry says Tom Brady is that you. I didn't know Tom Brady was here.
I don't know. I don't know. Is there a Tom Brady in the room? Terry, you'll have to explain. You lost Dan for a minute. All right, so that is a nice dark color. But here's a tricky thing that I do is I keep my palette I just use what's on it. I'm gonna grab a little bit of that warm red and that blue, because I know it's gonna make it darker, and this is a darker version of my base. That's pretty much what I do. Now, if I want more earthy or more darker color, I'll use like a burnt umber if I'm really desperate, which doesn't happen too often. I will throw in a black, but that's to make it a shade. I'll set that over there for now. So I'm going to clean all that up, put some of my base over into here, and add just a little bit of white. Feel free to interrupt me, Dan, anytime you want. A little bit of white. Now I'm scooping, and then wiggle. Scooping, and then wiggle. You guys can make a dance out of this if you want. Scooping and wiggle. Have some fun with this. This is great dexterity control. Just putting it down. I've got, you can relax your hand, relax your arm, and then pull it all up, scrape it all up, and then put it to the side. I'm gonna grab some more base, put it right down, add some more white, and this is gonna be a little bit more white because I want it to get lighter as I go around the plate. And once in a while, you just kind of hover over, and that's definitely lighter. Scoop it all up, and then put it on the plate. Go back to the base. Ooh, I feel a song coming on. Grab some white. This time it's going to be a little bit more. This part takes practice, so be patient with yourself and try and challenge, especially teens out there if you're new to acrylics. Adults if you're new to acrylics. Kids, have at it, have fun. Just have a blast. Or maybe you'd like to challenge yourself too. Try to get as many values as you can. I have this color wheel that has a value scale on the side. And so, see all those values? What if you got the increments just small enough with each one? And then you could stretch out your values. I challenge you to try that in your color mixing challenge today. you weren't here earlier, oop, that wasn't quite light enough. I'm gonna put it back and add some white. So our challenge for everyone is, let's figure out a way to thank our delivery people. Our food is being delivered for very often a lot of people. Our postal workers are working really hard to keep us safe and keep us connected and have the things that we need to get through this together. How can we thank them in a safe way? We can make big thank you signs, colorful thank you signs, put them on your car, put them in your yard. Maybe there's a yard sign you can make. What kind of materials can you use most creatively? Get your neighbors involved. Get people involved in safe ways. We don't need to be touching. We don't even need to talk. We can actually Zoom it, email it, message it, and we are going to post a gallery of what you're creating. So feel free to send them to us. There is my value scale. I've got dark to light with my base color in the middle. Now I'm going to go to my thank you canvas for my postal worker. Alrighty. When I was feeling down about a year ago, Daniel got this mug for me. It says, "You did it." Raise your mug. It's got water in it. Okay, so before we get too much further into our session, because this part goes until 10:30, and then we're gonna bebop over to Zoom, and we're gonna have some more of this lovely discussion and sampling with our community and our classmates. Hi everybody, miss you guys. Love that you're here. I feel like we're all in this together when you show up and give me a wave, and we get to talk later and see each other all together. Okay, so this is a soft synthetic brush. I'm choking on my water. Hold on a minute. Much better. And so this you can pick up in a pack of, I think they come in a pack of 3. And there'll be a bigger one, medium, and then a smaller one. And it's really super soft. And I think they charge like, $3 to $5 at the most for all 3 brushes. And I've got a number of these, and they last a while. The bristles fall out when you first start using them, but just keep using them on things that are just for fun. Eventually they stop. And sometimes I'll do this once in a while, and every once in a while you'll get a bad brush and it'll keep falling out. So just retire that one or give it to the littles who just don't care. It's texture and they're beautiful paintings. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go light to dark, and hopefully I made enough paint because I wasn't focusing as much on the amount of paint, but hey, you'll get to see if I run out of paint, what do I do? But I do want to point out, when you're using a resistance technique like we're doing, because I've taped out on the white canvas the word that I want to reveal after I'm done. So having too light of a color next to that edge that I want to be nice and crisp sometimes doesn't work out so well. Here, I think I went dark enough, it's not going to matter. But if you're using white anywhere in yours and your surface is white, you're not going to be able to see the resistance as much from a distance. So think about value as you're applying that. But thank you. I have the time warning, so I have just a few minutes, so I shall stop talking for a moment. Let's all take a nice deep breath in. You know that felt good. I do that a lot in my classes. I remind them to breathe. So I'm taking enough paint that it's going to last a little bit. I'm not staying on the surface any particular length, like I'm not staying like right here till it's blended. I'm just gonna go all over. And I'm gonna put my plate down now. Move these guys. I want to get sort of a lighter area over on this side. So I'm using all my lighter values. And then I'm going to start moving over into this area. It's going to get slightly darker. nice lilac color. I don't know if that translates in the video feed. Sometimes the quality's not that great. So here I'm getting into the darker area. I'm gonna go right next to that. Look, lost a bristle. What do? Oh, you just take it out. No big deal. This is one of those ones that may be retired. I just noticed when I was pulling them out just now, they were actually coming out. So notice I'm doing X, 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 X. So I'll go a little bit like this, and then I'll grab some more, X, 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 and then I'll blend a little bit. You get a rhythm going. You can slow down if you want. I tend to paint a little fast. And I think it's because I've worked with acrylics for so long. I know that it's gonna dry, so I tend to move a little bit fast. And then afterwards, when you've got a layer or two and you're doing a detail work, like a landscape, then you can slow down a little bit and work in layers. Once it's dry, you layer paint. Acrylics is all about layers. It's not about the one stop, get in, get the picture done. It is about relaxing. I actually find this very relaxing. I'm not used to talking so much when I paint. I usually am that solitary painter. I call it lockdown, and I just go on lockdown, and I feel better. I love to put on some music and take a deep breath. So this is a little different than my personal practice. So notice that it's getting all light to dark. So I'm going to blend this before I finish this down here, because I've got a nice barrier of dark right here. That's pretty much going to be the same color, same value down in this corner. I'm going to use the same brush. This is how we get a gradient. I'm going to lighten up my pressure. Everything's all wet. Nothing is dried yet. Nothing's tacky. And I'm going to lighten up my pressure. And now I'm using the side of the brush with hardly any pressure, so I don't get those little ding marks that everyone goes, oh, what did I do to my painting? And just go over and over and over, half on the medium tone and half on the dark tone, so that the gradient, and then when I go this way, I use the same side of the brush. I didn't flip it over. Doing the same thing, little up, little down, little up, little down. So I'm not going from the dark here to the light, because then that dark on my brush is going to get in the light, and that's not the goal here. Little up, little down, little up, little down. There you go. You just kind of tease it, like you're the boss. You're in charge. This paint's going to do what you want it to do. Just take some practice and getting to know what your medium can do for you. So in a few minutes, we're going to be joining in Zoom so we can be a little bit more interactive. I can answer some questions. See what you'd like to be demonstrated on these videos. I've had a lot of great feedback. People are loving the ideas for creativity. I've been teaching almost 20 years, so I've got a lot of tips and tricks to share on how to get started. Maybe even if you're interested in your homeschooling, you want to involve some arts, that would be phenomenal. And also, I teach the healing arts through art mediums. So that's going to start in another week or two, where I can help people use art as a healing experience. Journaling, creative writing. It's the art of letting go, like in my TED Talk. You know, we find some space, we make some time for ourselves, get a sense of what feels good to us to experience, and then decide what you want to experience. Decide how you feel, and set some intentions and goals like we've been doing in these 9 a.m. sessions. By the way, Katrin was amazing with Qigong this morning. I just really amped up my creative juices. Loved the Qigong. I think we're going to end up doing that every 9 a.m. every Tuesday, so please feel free to join in. And this Thursday, Jen Archibald is coming with Energy Medicine, a simple way to use your body how it was intended. I won't say too much more with that because I'm not the expert. So now we have a purple canvas. It's light to dark. We've talked about values. You've seen me mix You see me make mistakes and not really care. And hopefully you can get the kiddos involved. What do you do next? You're gonna dry it. And after you dry it, you're gonna take your resistance off. And what does that look like? Oh my gosh, the big reveal. Look at that. How easy is that? Simple, nice way to put out a message to our army of delivery and service people. Like I said, Thursday I've got a fantastic idea for thanking our healthcare workers that are keeping us safe, keeping us healthy, taking care of our friends and our family. But right now, I'd really like to thank the people that are putting their lives at risk, making sure that we get the packages we need at home. I've got the sweetest postal worker that comes in. She's just a doll. And I want to thank her in any way that I can, besides bleaching the mailbox every chance I get. Let's just see. Am I running late, dear?
Yep.
Oh, geez. Hi, people. I'll be right over. Can they see me? You can put the video on. They can see me. I can't stop now. I'm about to reveal the big reveal.
Right now it's just Sherry's iPad.
Alrighty. So I'm almost done. I'm gonna put the reveal to you. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all excited. This really is the most fun part. So if you're doing this with your kids, believe me, this never gets old. I've done this a million times and I still get just as excited when I take this off. We do this in watercolor. We use masking fluid and we get the same result. Like, I'm gonna take off my mask. No pun intended. Woo. Wouldn't that be great to put out your window and say thank you. Thanks for keeping us safe. Thanks for all that you're doing. Tip your delivery people when they bring you food, please. Please, please, please. They deserve it. And join us in Zoom. We're about to have a discussion and we're going to do some more acrylic painting and acrylic mixing. We'll see you there.